That is hardcore.
This is hardcore shit.
But for me, it's harder and harder to resist.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Hardcore Horror with Mike and Brigitte.
What's up, Mike?
Well, things a little different here
A
today.
little bit different.
A little
Yeah.
What do we got going on?
We are at the Louisville Horror Con, and we got something very, very exciting to share with you guys.
Absolutely.
We have a very special guest. We're super excited to have her. We have Honey Gregory. We're going to bring her on here shortly.
Yeah.
So thank you guys so much for being listeners and supporting us, and wish you guys could come out and see us. But always check out Cirque du Freaks. Don't forget cirquedufreaks.com. That's where you can go and find out all the events we're working at. So maybe we'll do another one of these live podcasts in the future. So stay tuned.
FauxPaulFilms.com as well. That's where you can find my movies. And
Yes.
some movies that somebody else is in.
Yeah.
All right, so this is our May show, and we are here live doing a live taping of Hardcore Horror, first time ever, kind of a new thing.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's been good. Been having a good weekend. Had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been amazing. There's a lot of people here, a lot of celebrities, a lot of vendors, a lot of cosplayers. I love seeing all the cosplayers come by and all their fun outfits, and yeah, it's a really great time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what's been going on? You got anything to talk about?
Yes, actually I do.
All right.
So I recently just wrapped on a film. It was a film that was done kind of last minute. It's called Termite Fantasies. Termite Fantasies.
Okay.
This is a Buto type of filming. Are you familiar with Buto? Not a lot of people are. I had never heard of it previously, but Buto type of filming is, I think the only way I can explain it is it's like moving art with no dialogue. So it's very artsy, and it was really strange to have a part where there was no dialogue. So I was cast as a dancer in this Termite Fantasies. This movie is basically about a termite that is being born as a maggot, and this termite going through the experience of being born. Okay. It is some crazy stuff. But it's a film by Spencer Eves. He's based out of Nashville. Okay. I think he just graduated film school, and this has been a project he's been wanting to do for many, many years. So it's filmed in Nashville. Tracy West is the lead. He kind of introduced me to the director, and yeah, I was cast as one of the dancers. So it was fun and different. Awesome. And I will say that just because there's no dialogue, it was still hard.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it actually kind of probably makes it a little harder because you have to convey
It does.
without words, right?
Yes, and this particular character, I was considered a creature, and I was supposed to, like, you're thinking, oh, she's a dancer, but no, I was supposed to dance in like very awkward and unusual moves. So it's pretty crazy. The dance scene from the movie Climax inspired this dance scene.
Oh, Climax. Okay.
Climax, yeah. Do you know the very beginning scene where they do the dance and they all kind of join together and is doing this? They look like a big insect to me.
Yeah.
So we did something kind of similar to that. So
Okay.
yeah, and I'll let you guys know when it comes out. We just wrapped a couple weeks ago, so it's pretty exciting.
That should be
Yeah.
very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool. All right.
Yeah, so we got that. We do have a lot of events coming up. You know, I'm co-owner of Cirque du Freaks.
Right.
You know, we do a lot of vending. So, you know, this weekend we're at Louisville Horror Con. We have, our next one is going to be Spawn of Scarefest. That's in Lexington.
Still in Kentucky.
Still in Kentucky, yeah. So that's coming up, so we're super excited about that. And then, you know, we've got a lot. We've got CreepyCon and Smoky Mountain Terror. As always, just go to cirquedufreaks.com, see where we're at. So yeah, we've got a lot going on this summer. What about you? You have anything
Convention
going on?
field.
Yeah, right.
Convention field.
Yeah, but it's always fun, even at slower events, it's always fun. You meet a lot of people, there's a lot of networking, and yeah, it's just a lot of fun.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. We'll just do this portion when we talk about movies.
Yes.
Movies we've been watching recently. A couple of them anyway. What do you want to talk about first?
Man, I've seen some doozies.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
let's talk one. There's one movie that was been on my list for a long time.
Okay.
You know, I always have a running list of recommendations of movies,
Right.
and I think this one's been on my list for a long time, and I think that I saw where you were watching it, and that's why I was like, oh, let me go ahead and watch this movie. Again, it either recommended or I read something about it, so I had no idea what this movie was about. I've been on this kick where I don't like watching trailers.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they're just giving too much away.
A lot of them do. Yeah.
So I didn't know anything about this going in. I would almost recommend it. I would almost recommend that.
Well, I don't know.
So yeah,
I mean, maybe.
you already know what movie I'm going to talk about,
Yeah.
don't you?
Yeah.
This movie is called Soft and Quiet.
Soft and Quiet from 2022, right?
2022. There is nothing soft or quiet about this film.
Yeah, this is one that's it's been getting a lot of buzz online for a while, and like you said, it's kind of been in my mind to watch it, but I never had.
So let me tell everyone what it's about. Let me tell you what it's about.
Okay.
So, and this is straight off of Wikipedia.
All right.
Soft and Quiet from 2022 is a tense, real-time thriller that follows a female elementary school teacher who organizes a meeting for a white supremacist hate group. When the women relocate to her home, you know, she gets into it with the mixed-race sisters, and it just spirals into these horrific, deadly chain of events. So, it doesn't sound that bad, but
It is that bad. It's worse than that.
it's worse. I had it was a one-time watch for me. Definitely a one-time watch. I didn't realize how intense it was going to be, because again, I didn't know what it was about. It was just on my list, and I'm watching Tracy's cooking dinner, and the first part of it, the first 30, 45, 40 minutes, I was like, he was like, what are you watching? Because it's a bunch of girls cackling, and
Yeah.
you don't really see it coming.
No,
And then I was
if
like,
you have no idea what this movie's about and you start watching it, yeah, you're at first you're like, oh, this is just probably like a rom-com or something. And
Right.
But when it gets to the reveal, you're like, wait, did I just? Is that what that was?
Yeah. So I went down the rabbit hole and I was like, what are other people saying about this movie? No one likes this movie. It offends everyone, which I could see why, but it was brutal.
It was brutal, but not in the way that you would think necessarily that a movie would be brutal, because it's not about the gore
Right.
or the blood
Right.
and all that. It's none of that stuff. It's just
Yeah.
it's the psychology of it all, really.
Yeah.
And so it's the horror that comes in the subtext, because it's really more of a thriller. But the horror part is, I would say, it's not a true story, but it could be.
It could be a
Very
true story.
easily, and
Yeah.
probably is somewhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is hardcore.
Definitely.
For sure.
Definitely. It's
Again,
definitely extreme.
It's not like regurgitated sacrifice.
Oh,
Regurgitated sacrifice. It's not like that, but it is definitely.
But
hardcore.
it's on that level though. I felt so uncomfortable,
Yeah.
very uncomfortable, and I was just like, did that just happen? Oh my gosh,
Right.
that's so crazy. And everything you read about this movie, everyone's kind of saying the exact same thing. So definitely a one-time watch. I don't want to give away too much about it because
Right.
it'd be easy to.
Yeah.
But
Well, even though there's some buzz about it online, I feel like it is sort of underrated, because again, it took us
yeah.
4 years to watch it.
Yeah,
so,
and considering
uh,
it's extreme, I had to have read it on an extreme list or something.
Maybe, yeah.
Or you might have talked about, I'm not sure, but yeah, again, not knowing what I was going into, if, it's not even if you get squeamish, but it is very psychological and it's harsh. It's very brutal.
Yeah.
So, yeah, soft and quiet.
Soft and quiet.
Soft and quiet. So, I only have one other movie I want to talk about. All right, it is Faces of Death from 2026.
Faces of Death.
I kind of wish that I would have went and watched the original, the 1978 version.
I watched them all not
first.
too long ago. I
Yeah,
got that
because you bought
pack.
the movie
Yeah.
from Walmart.
Yeah, I got that pack not too long ago. So, yeah, I could see that. So when I heard about this movie, when I heard about this new Faces of Death, I thought, that's kind of strange, right? Because we're living in a totally different age than when the first one came out. And I knew that wasn't going to play out like that one, because that one was sort of a movie that got passed from place to place, VHS style, kind of being like, watch this, hey, watch this, oh crap. And was lauded as real.
Yeah, that was the big thing about Faces of Death from 1978 is that for the longest time, everyone thought it was real. And it wasn't until, I say recently, but it's, been years now that we all found out that it was just like maybe, like 20% of it was real and hardly anything at all. And, but yeah, that was their big marketing thing and it was smart marketing. In 1978, so this would have been before like Cannibal Holocaust and these other movies where you thought it was really real. Yeah, and I'm glad we talked about it because I kind of forgot. So me knowing that about the 1978 version, and it was like 2026, I was like, what am I going to go in and watch? Is it going to be, footage of extreme deaths or whatever? I had no idea.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't going to be like that. So I knew this new one was going to be way more polished and everything. And obviously there was actors attached to it as well.
Yes.
So I knew it wasn't going to be exactly like that. But what do you think about it, though? I mean, I think it works.
I think it works. And let me read what it's about because you think you know what it's about, but you really don't. Okay, the story follows Margot, played by Barbie Ferreira, a content moderator for a social media platform whose job is to filter out graphic, offensive, and violent videos. She discovers a series of disturbing new videos that appear to be in real-time murders and snuff films. As she investigates, she realizes the killer is recreating and updating the infamous death scenes from the original 1978 movie to gain internet clout.
That was a spoiler. Sorry.
Yeah. I just took it off Wikipedia.
Wikipedia
This
will
is
spoil
exactly
things.
why I don't watch trailers.
Real spoil things.
Yeah.
Yes. So where it does that, what it incorporates with the original, how it blends it together, I think it works pretty good.
Yep.
Probably the best way it could have been made, right?
I think so too, and it's crazy because it's an example of how people, they're searching for more extreme stuff. They start getting desensitized, and they're looking for more extreme content on the internet. I did think it was unusual that the girl worked there, but she had some dramatic thing happen to her. It's very hard to talk about this movie without giving spoilers. I'm just realizing that. And I don't want to give any more. Honestly, the description was taken just straight off Wikipedia, but.
Well, and updated for today because there are people that are content moderators,
There
that are
is.
seeing stuff. There's another movie about the same thing. It's called American Sweatshop. Did you see that?
Yeah, I think we've talked about it before, so I was like, oh, I feel like I've seen this before, but I do think that was a great way to bring the movie back.
Yeah.
And give it an actual story.
Yeah. It's kind of meta in a way.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Anaconda.
Yeah.
Yeah. In a way.
Yeah, totally.
So, but yeah, I like
And
it.
how people search for things and how the algorithm works and feeds based off of what people search, which is really things that happen today.
Yeah.
Everything's based off of what you search, and eBay, for an example, anything. It's always monitoring what you're searching in the algorithm,
Right.
and I enjoyed it. I think it was really good. I
Yeah.
thought it was a good take on it. Yeah.
All right. Well.
Do you have anything else you want to talk about before we bring our guest on?
Let's bring on the guest.
Let's bring on our guest. So, yes, we're super excited. So we have Honey Gregory. Honey's an actress, model. She's really known from being the OG male girl from Joe Bob Briggs.
Last Drive and Monstervision, TNT, and all that. Yes.
Yes. So, Honey Gregory.
Yeah.
Come on over. Yay.
Thanks, guys.
Yay! We're so glad to have you here. So
I'm so
awesome.
excited. Oh my
Yes.
gosh, this is going to be so much fun.
Yes, it is. Hey, so everyone knows you from Joe Bob.
Correct.
From Joe Bob.
Yeah.
So tell us like a little bit about your experience on there and
Well, what do you want to know exactly?
yeah. So
Anything particular?
yeah. How did you get into it? How did it all begin?
I was modeling,
Yeah.
and I was doing a lot of commercials and music videos and yada yada. And Joe Bob's people reached out to my agent and said, hey, we need a Vanna White.
Oh, but okay.
Yeah, for the Hubbies, for the
Yeah.
Hubby Awards. I don't know if anybody remembers that. That was quite some time ago. But he needed a Vanna White girl,
Okay.
someone that would just do the, And so I got hired to do the Hubbies, and I did it a couple years. And I guess there was like a lot of fan mail or something, because one day I went in and he said, honey, we got to do something else. We got to figure something else for you. And then he called me and said, hey, would you be interested in doing this or that? And so we talked about it, and then next thing I know, I became Honey the Mill Girl. So
So when you first started, you weren't the mill girl.
I was the Hubby Girl.
Oh, I don't
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome.
Did the
Okay.
Hubby Awards. So he would have
Okay.
these silly award shows once a year where he would say, and the best actor, or the best breast actor, or the best
Yeah.
wing dinger actor, or whatever he was coming up with for the day. And he would make these awards, and of course the person never showed up to collect them.
Yeah.
And we would just kind of pretend like, are they here? Are they here? And then, of course, they were never there. And then he would be holding the Hubby, and I would just, the Hubby Award was a hubcap. That's why it's called the Hubbies.
Yeah, makes
And it's
sense.
just a giant hubcap that, they found on the side of the street somewhere. And we would just pretend. So I'd do my little Vanna White,
Yeah.
Look at this is so nice.
Yeah. So you didn't even do a lot of dialogue or anything. It was just.
Not much. He might say, what do you think, honey? Well, they show up and I go, oh, I don't know. Oh,
Yeah.
maybe. Something silly, something dingy, something fun.
Okay, so I didn't know that. So that's how the mail thing got started. So that was actually something I wanted to ask you, if that was real fans writing in.
Well, my fan base then, because we're talking a little while ago, there was no social media at all. We were on cable on the weekends, every weekend pretty much. And only people who had cable TV could get, Monstervision or whatever. And so a lot of the people who would be up at the, midnight or whatever time we were airing, were incarcerated people.
Oh.
Okay.
So the majority of my fan mail came from incarcerated males.
Interesting.
That is interesting.
Wow.
Okay.
So, a lot of dudes in prison. I don't even want to know what they were doing. But and so they started writing in saying, do you have any headshots for Honey? And all I had but then was my professional headshot, was just me smiling or, doing something that, I'd pass out to anybody. Joe Bob says, no, we got to do something. We need to do something male girly and sexy. And so we started doing some pictures. Now, we've had a couple photo shoots, but I only have a couple copies. So out there somewhere is some great pictures of me and Joe Bob, and I can't find them. I don't know how to get them. If anybody knows, let me know. But there's some really good ones out there.
Okay.
So I have a couple that I have always at my booth, but that's literally all that I have. But there's negatives somewhere.
Oh, that's kind of fun. They're
Yeah.
out there floating around
Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah.
Okay.
So we did the photo shoots so that way we could have photos that were a little more fun, to send out to fans.
So on these letters, so now that we know where the letters come from, where the majority of them came from, do you remember any any of the craziest letter you ever read, or?
Well,
anything
most of
crazy?
them went to Joe Bob.
Yeah, right.
So I barely ever got to actually see them. Only
Okay.
ones I knew about were a few, like every once in a while. He'd say, honey, here's some letters and they want headshots. Can you sign some? And they took care of most of it back then. So they would he would have me sign like 10 or 20 of them each time I came in, and then they would send them out. But the letters to him, they were always hysterical. He had all that somewhere. I hope he saved those because those were hilarious.
I hope you did too.
Yeah. And some of them were flattering towards him, and some of them were not at all. But I think, because obviously they were addressing the character, not him personally, but we like to use the ones on the show that were funny and often were not flattering to him at all, because then we would, run with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
he would say, honey, maybe say this, and I'll say that, you know, and we would work it out, and why don't you slap me, or maybe kiss me, you know, and so we would try a couple different things, and we would just have a blast with it until it came out just right.
Yeah, oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, we had really good charisma. I think good banter, good charisma, a lot of good energy. It always was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I really feel like you're part. I figured this out. So, honey, your booth is right next to it. I talked to some of your fans yesterday, and oh my gosh, like it's not like fans watching a normal TV show. Like there was a real connection. I think those letters actually made it almost a real connection, almost like it's nostalgic that they felt like they knew you on a personal level. And
Well,
I love that. Just seeing those reactions were
Yeah.
amazing. They were so excited. The few that I talked to, they're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe Honey's here. That's so awesome."
that's so sweet.
It was good.
Well, we were on, I think, pretty much every weekend.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a season, like where you were like on, you know, a couple months.
I mean, not like the Joe Bob show today that streams on Shudder. That's like once a month, maybe.
No. It's
not
If even
anymore.
that. Yeah,
it's been
it's no
canceled.
longer.
But I
It's
think they
canceled
had
recently, I think.
seasons, and they were like 3 or 4 month long seasons where he would be on like on Friday night or Saturday night.
Yeah.
And then he would do a couple of specials later that year.
Yeah, like the Christmas
Yeah,
ones
yeah,
and
yeah.
so
But
and
we
you
were
guys would
on
and
every
you guys
weekend.
would film several in like one night. Right?
In one weekend.
Oh, one
So
weekend.
we'd work
Okay.
12 hours on Saturday and Sunday, and we would typically do, 12 episodes, occasionally 10, if something was like we just had to get through something. But usually he would have it organized for us to do 12.
Yeah.
A weekend?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
That's a lot.
That's
Yeah,
a lot,
I never
yeah.
imagined
Well, yeah.
12, but I mean,
My call
yeah.
time was usually like 6 or 7 in the morning, and I'd get my scripts the night before at midnight. They'd send a runner over, and I'd get a knock at the door at midnight, and I'd be half asleep, and then I'd get up and try to like hold my eyeballs open long enough to read through the
Nice.
script.
So
to
you
get
didn't
some-
have a lot of time. Woof.
Well, a lot of people don't realize is it's scripted.
Yeah,
It really
I
is
didn't. I
scripted.
didn't know
I
that,
did.
but
I
you
did.
knew
It's all
that. Yeah.
scripted. Even the new show is scripted.
Yes.
Yeah, it's all scripted. So, but there's room to ad lib if needed, and a lot of times, you know, he would write it one way, and then we'd start doing it, and it didn't work as good, and we would just come up with some, like I said, we would just kind of try a couple different things and then see
Yeah.
what worked the best.
Yeah, just like
Yeah.
filming a movie. Yeah, just convenient.
So when Monstervision was over, did you guys ever try to shop it around somewhere else? Was it ever a thought?
I don't know what he did. It was his show, right? So I was gone the last, I think, 2 years. It was still on cable. I went off to Europe to study, and I offered to come back, but you know, you had to fly back, get a hotel, you know, and I think it wasn't really in the budget. But so he wound up getting a couple of more different. I think there was 2, maybe 3 other male girls, Reno and Rusty.
That's what I was going to ask you. Were
Maybe
there
one
other members?
more.
Do you remember them or no?
I mean, not
Not really.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, like I had, you know, this is not any reflection on anybody, but people who were watching it, and I was on there for what, like 8 or 9 years, and then suddenly I was gone, they bring someone new in. You know how people are loyal, you know, suddenly people are like, I don't like this new person, you know. But that's not to say anything about either the ladies, the actresses who, you know, tried to step into my shoes, I guess you could say, but, so the gentleman that I was talking to right before this, he was like, I started watching you, he goes, I remember being 14 years old and watching, he said, you are a huge part, I watched every weekend,
Oh,
you're a
I
huge
love
part
this.
of my
Yeah.
life, yeah. And he was like tearing up, and he was bringing his daughter to meet me, he says, I want you to know this person that, you know, had a huge part of his life, and I was like,
That's what I'm saying. I bet I talked
Oh
to
my
him
gosh,
yesterday.
that's
That's what
crazy.
I'm saying is like your fans, like they really truly felt like they knew you.
yeah. The sad part
Love
is
that.
we were not aware of it like that. Because there was no social
There's no
media,
social
there was no
media.
conventions, there was no way to really connect unless someone happened to send a letter.
But that's what gave them that real connection versus other shows. They didn't have that connection that you
Well,
guys have.
but I didn't always see their letters,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, and that's things I thought you did, so.
And then
these
most
things-
people, you know, I don't know what John did with all the letters. I mean, he might bring a few in. If they asked for like a photo, a signed autograph, then he would say, oh, this person wants in. So do this one to Jeff and to Fred or whatever. Yes, but I didn't get the copy of it. I didn't get to take it home. I didn't get to, you know, save it or whatever. But
Yeah, you
they-
didn't have an iPhone where you just pull it out and
Right.
take a picture, you know?
you know, so it, you know, like now, someone's on your social media, so they go to my Honey page on Facebook, and you know, I'm hearing for a lot of people where they could not do that before. There was no way for me to really know unless they sent a letter in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds good.
I think now, if he and I had been doing this with the social media now, man, it would have been like really fun and really big, and it would have been amazing.
So now, with his new show, you did do a guest appearance.
I did get the opportunity, yes, I was so fortunate. Season 4 premiere, a couple years ago, 22, I think it was.
Yeah, so what was that like for you?
Oh, it was fun. I enjoyed it. It was instant. It was so weird because I was really kind of nervous because I hadn't been on front of the camera in ages, you know. And they had me pop out of a cake and do all this really cool stuff. And it was just like, as soon as the lights were on and I popped out of the cake, it was just like a flood of memories of going back in time. And I was like, oh my gosh, I miss this so much. And then when I got to sit down with him and just start interacting with him, I just instantly felt the chemistry. I instantly wanted, you know, for us to be playful and fun and have a good time. But of course, I was scripted, and I was like, I can only do this. I can say that. And it was just like, ah.
Yeah, you guys really did have a chemistry,
Yeah.
and you could tell that too.
Yeah,
You could
yeah.
definitely see it.
It was instantly back like that, you know, and it was weird. I mean, like, he was always handsome and I was always pretty, but there was like more than the way we looked and the more than what he had to say. It was just like, no matter if I was smacking him on the face and telling him off, like, how dare you ask me to go to, you know, Florida again or whatever, or Hawaii, Cancun, or if I was just giving him a gentle little kiss. I mean, it was just always something playful and fun and silly, and the audience always loved it. So
I
we had a
think I
great time.
watched I think I did watch that, and he mentions, he was like, I used to get a lot of crap because I would call you honey, but that was your name.
Yeah, well, the feminist is
Yeah,
what he's
yeah,
talking
yeah,
about.
yeah.
He's talking about feminist.
Yeah.
Because back then, you know, I mean, we're talking 80s and 90s. Things were different. The culture was different than it is today. And, yeah, so he'd say, hey, honey, you know, come on out here. Or he'd say, speaking of big breasts,
Yeah.
come on out here, honey. And I'd be like, oh, thanks, you know. Or I'd give him one of these, you know, something, depending on the mood I was pretending to be in, of course, at the time. And so, yeah, you know, he'd come out and be talking about my boobs or my backside or something, and the women wrote in quite a bit. The men didn't have a problem with anything I was doing. It was the
Right, of
women
course,
going, how dare you know,
Yeah.
subject her to that. And
Yeah, I believe
and
it.
I'm like, it's a character, it's pretend.
Yeah.
But my real name is Honey, so I think that he was able to, you know, bring it up a few times, like, her name is really Honey, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not just calling her honey. Yeah.
But it was perfectly fitting
Yeah.
for the character and the show and the time. And, you know, that's the good thing about a show. When you have a really good series, you know, you've got to have people who love you, and you got to have people who don't.
Yeah.
Because the people that don't just drive you to keep going.
Oh, that's a good point. I like that.
You've got your
Yeah, that's
fan,
right.
you've got your fan base that support everything you're doing. But it's the complainers that make it fun and make it like, well, okay, I'm touching some buttons, but maybe these are buttons that need to be touched.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I like one thing about Joe Bob's show that I loved is that he talks a lot about and gives credit to B-rated, like horror movies and controversial films instead of mocking them, where a lot of these horror hosts don't do that. And I was always appreciative of that.
yeah, I'm trying to remember the stories that he told me, but it's something, and I could be wrong, but it's something like, you know, he was like an actor and a journalist. He was a journalist, and he had done some one-man shows prior to having the drive-in and Monstervision. and I can't remember to the extent, but he, created this character because he was he wanted to do, he was a journalist, and he wanted to do like movie ratings or whatever. And everybody, all the big wigs were doing mainstream movies at the cinema.
Right.
Yeah.
And he was like, but there's so many good movies that are not getting into the cinema.
Right.
And
Not
it-
only that, but Siskel and Ebert was shitting all over horror movies. anyway.
Right, exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
And yes, and I wasn't gonna bring her name up, so I'm glad you did. It's not on my head now. No, and so that was like a thing to him. Like, he was like, these are some good movies and they have some value. And he came up with that whole rating system and the whole drive, and he started writing that column, and it became syndicated, and of course it just went on from there. And then next thing you know, he I don't know if it was his idea or what exactly how it happened, but then he got on cable, so. I should have brought my water.
Yeah. Into the
Oh,
mouth.
you're fine. What's in there?
It's just Mountain Dew. It'll be fun. Yeah, I do love that. I do love that. Is it, we're independent, low budget filmmakers. So,
Right,
and these lower budget movies, they just don't get the credit that they deserve sometimes.
Well, if you're an artist and you're just starting out, you're gonna have a low budget film.
Yeah,
And,
right.
and you're not gonna get in the cinema. It's so different. I think I read somewhere once, well, they said that there's only a certain number of films released every year from A-lister like type films, and it was something really small. I'm just gonna guess a number, something like 50 or something, like it was a really small number. And then you think of all these amazing writers and actresses and artists who want to be practicing their craft. It's kind of like you can't get in a top movie until you've got experience. And how do you get experience to get in the top movies, right? And so and it's the dilemma even as an actress, because I would go on auditions and they would say, well, what have you done, that's, big or big named? I'm like, nothing yet, I'm
You
trying
gotta
to figure it
start
out.
somewhere. Yeah.
So a lot of opportunity for all kinds of artists with the independent filmmakers. And some of them have done phenomenal things that are now, they're the big dogs now,
Well, yeah, when you look at the A-list actors and celebrities, I mean, I would say a big bulk of them got their start in horror movies, independent
That's right.
horror movies. So,
Well,
yeah.
horror movies are easy to make.
You think they're easy? I
They're
don't think
easy
they're
to
easy.
make.
You think they're easy?
Well, they're easy to find an audience, I would say that, more so than like a comedy or something like that, or a drama. If you're doing like a super independent drama or a comedy, that's harder to get eyeballs on, and I think horror, they have such a big fan base that it is easier to get that out there. But
Well, if you go back to like the 70s and 80s, I think there was very few people who wanted to touch horror films. You got your certain people, right? And they were cheaper and easier to make. I don't know why, but they were.
One thing we've talked about this before that drive both of us crazy is that there's actors out there, we won't say any names or anything, but they get their start on these B horror movies. And then they get big, and then they try to have that film taken off their
Oh, wow.
off their page, their
Really?
DVD. Yeah, and I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
oh, it makes me
It
so mad.
rockets them to
Yes.
fame, and then they want to pretend
Yes,
they didn't do it.
that happens, doesn't it?
it does happen.
It does.
That's weird.
Yeah,
Just own it.
I know. I'm like, but that's how you got your star,
I mean, we all did the Burger King commercials and the, I did
Yeah.
one commercial one time. It was so embarrassing. I had no idea it was going to be this. It was something like some sort of phone company for your, I don't even remember, some sort of phone. And we're in the car, and it's, we'd have a few lines or whatever, and then next thing you know, the car's rocking, right? And the car, the camera pans out, and you see a full moon, and the car's rocking up and down. And I can't remember the taglines on it, but I'm like, oh, okay. So now my face is associated with supposedly having some sexy time in
and
this
that's a phone
car.
commercial.
Yeah, it was something big too. It was like, it was on national TV. Like
Yeah.
it was a real commercial. And I'm like, 'cause I was like, okay, I'm gonna get a good credit for that. But what am I gonna tell people?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm the girl that's doing it in the back of the car.
Yeah, that's crazy. You didn't realize. I feel like those things happen all the time, like in films. Like, Felicia Rose is a good example when she talks about sleepaway camp. I was like, did you know what you were filming? Because you were like 13. She was like, actually, no.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
she was like, I even brought like my classroom like on set because we didn't know. And then today you watch that movie and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah. It was
But-
so, well, they compartmentalize it,
Yeah.
especially for kids. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've talked to her about that too at
Did
the
you?
FrankenCon, and I was like, "Did you know that he was a she or she was a he or whatever?" And she's like, "No, it was like a surprise. Like
Yeah.
we were like, wait a minute, what?"
Yeah.
I don't even know if she even remembers
That she probably, I don't think she
Yeah.
did remember that the ending.
until she
Yeah,
like
the
went and
reveal.
watched it again or something. There was like some story behind it. It was just hilarious. I was like,
That
oh my
is
God.
crazy. That is crazy.
So after you went abroad, did you come back and try to do more anything film-wise? Did you get into any of that stuff?
When I got back here, I was deep into law school. I was a 1L, and I was studying constantly, and I had a teenage daughter who was making my life as miserable as she possibly could. And between the two, I was really, really busy. But I did get an agent up in Indianapolis, Helen Wells, I think it is. And we I did some modeling work, but I never got into any more like commercials of film. They told me that I was too attractive for the Midwest market.
Well, that's a thing? What?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm coming out of Dallas, right? I still look the same as when I was working in Dallas, and so the Midwest market, they told me I was too attractive. They wanted, frumpier and whatever. And I thought, well, that's kind of an insult to the people in the Midwest, don't you think? But
Right.
but that was I would always be the runner up for every commercial. Like they down to two, and the person that was a little more everyday looking would get the part. Yeah.
Interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah. But I did have some modeling gigs, as in like I had the opportunity to do a really cool event. It was for the Burn Society for children. So they did this family did a huge fundraiser, and this one young lady who made evening gowns. She made them out of lace, and then she took that. You remember that old puff paint, like sparkly puff paint?
Yeah.
And she would go over every single part of the lace, and they were so heavy. Instead of being like beaded or sequined, it was this puff paint. And so she had created something like 20 or 30 dresses, and then hired models for all of them. And so we got to go to this big mansion and do this major like charity event and stuff. So I got to do things like that, but getting back in front of the camera, I did not.
What about now? You go to these conventions. I'm sure some filmmakers come up to you and be like, "Come and be in my movie." You ever get that?
Well, at the Jamboree, I got some of that, and I think the next convention I did as well, but it's kind of died off. But, my 15 minutes of fame.
But you're making a comeback though, because we're seeing you more and more at conventions.
Yeah, and you guys were sponsoring me, brought me out, so I'm so
Yay.
grateful. I really, really, really
Yes.
appreciate it, because, that's how you get out again, is when your friends
Yeah.
step up and say, we want this person here. Because a lot of people just say, oh, she's a has-been, we don't even know who she is,
Yeah,
or whatever.
I don't think
But
horror does that though.
I
I think
know.
they hold on to their legacy.
I think so.
If
too.
they saw it, or like the guy today who came over just a few minutes ago, he was like, yesterday he was like, I will be back tomorrow, and he came back and he was wearing the,
Yes, he was.
with the Monstervision shirt,
Yes.
and he brought his
And
daughter.
he brought a painting.
Yeah, he drew a picture
Amazing.
from a film, and he's got Joe Bob in it. I can't remember the name of the movie. I'm terrible. But it was beautiful artwork, and he signed it for me. It was my gift.
Oh, it was Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Was it?
Because you guys were in Texas. In Dallas, right? It was he had Joe Bob sitting at the table, and then he had Leatherface.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And Grandpa, and
Yeah.
but Joe Bob's sitting over there, and it's the young Joe Bob.
Yeah.
Like he looked like.
Oh, he
what
was so
looked like.
handsome
Oh,
back
he
then.
was handsome. Joe Bob was handsome.
He was.
Yes.
Every
he
girl
sure
thought
was.
so. He got
I'm
some
sure
fan
he did.
mail
I'm
and
sure
hate
he
mail.
did. Yeah, I can only imagine. But no projects coming up, but you do, but we might see you at some conventions though.
Well, some of your friends are so sweet, they're working on trying to get me to Spawn.
I don't think
So-
they're working on it. I think they really want you to be.
Right, so hopefully I'll be seeing everybody
Yeah.
here again.
Yeah, Spawn Scare Fest in Lexington. So
And
that's
there's-
coming up.
There's supposed to be a lot of fun, a lot of after-hour
Yeah.
socializing, so that'll be really neat, because I'll get to talk to people
Yeah.
more one-to-one and.
Absolutely, and yeah, I think it might be a little bit bigger, but it's been a great weekend. We're grateful. We're grateful to be here, and they gave us the opportunity to do a podcast.
Yeah, this was really cool.
Yeah.
That was really sweet of them, because we were trying to get time and figure out
Yes.
when can we connect, and then this just worked out perfect.
Yeah, it sure did. I'm so happy. It did work out really good.
Yeah. What about any spicy stories? Anything you can tell us? Anything?
Spicy?
Anything
What is that?
crazy? Anything wild?
Spicy.
Well, I've got some
We are
chili
called
pepper.
hardcore horror.
Got some chili pepper back at home. I make
is
tacos
spicy.
once in a while. What do you mean spicy?
I don't know. Just anything memorable that comes to mind that was wild in your time on
Well,
the
I
show?
can't tell those stories.
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh.
No, I'm teasing. No, you mean about on the show with
Sure.
John? Okay. Well, spicy? I can't think of anything spicy. We just had a great time.
No drama with the networks, nothing like that. Everything just went smooth.
Oh, well, I was just the hired actress.
So you didn't.
Oh, you didn't have to deal with the drama.
No,
Joe Bob played.
Did Joe Bob go on the road with you at that time?
on the road.
Like, yeah, because he goes on the roads and does his
Oh,
speaking
he
tours.
wasn't doing that then, that I'm
He didn't-
aware
he didn't
of.
know
If he
that.
was doing a one-man show, I was not privy to that information.
Oh, okay. Well, did you
Yeah.
guys do work conventions then?
There were
Or
no such thing.
Okay, I wondered. I didn't know.
I'd never heard of them until late
I
90s.
wondered. Yeah.
I don't think they were around. If they were very, very few.
Very,
Now they're
yeah.
flooded.
So
You
that's
can't-
what I'm saying
there's
is
too
like there
many.
was no social media, there's no conventions, so these letters, that was the one
That
way
was
for
the
fans to connect, the only way.
And very few people did.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like a million people were watching us on Saturday night and they all wrote in.
Right,
You know,
right.
that's 2 or 3 people might be
Yeah.
brave enough to write in,
Yeah. Yeah.
per week or something, or
Yeah.
maybe 10 or something. But it wasn't like liking 14 different social medias and showing up here and shaking hands. There was, like I said, I had no clue.
Yeah.
I had no clue until Joe Bob brought me back on the last drive-in, that I had fans that even remembered me.
That's what I was gonna say. Did you know how big the show was? Did
No.
you even know? You weren't even aware
No.
of it. I feel like that happens a lot. We'll talk to actors, and at the time of filming, especially kids, they're like, I had no idea that
Yeah.
this was just gonna be huge. I had no idea.
Wow.
So that's why I wondered if you even knew.
I'm telling
like,
you,
what
I
it
went,
was.
he asked me to come back on, and I said, okay. I went to the Jamboree, and then people were lining up to talk to me. I'm like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I
And
take
you
it
look
back.
the exact same. I feel like you look the exact same as you did on the
I
show.
don't know about the exact same, but, I'm trying. I'm hanging in there.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah,
take it
you look
back.
great.
When he was at the Indianapolis Horror Hound, 2009, he calls me, because, we used to talk to each other a lot more frequently than we do now, but he called me up and said, hey, honey, I'm going to be in Indianapolis. You want to come hang out? I was like, well, yeah, don't have to ask me twice. And so I went, and we had a blast, but the people were lined up. We were at the very back, far corner. This is so funny, because they had all these fancy, popular, well-known people up in the kind of front over in this one area. And then Joe Bob and I and his handler, Tracy, were back in the corner, a little table in the far corner, the farthest corner away from the door that you can get. And it's a good thing, because the line was all the way down to the end of the building.
Oh, Joe, you guys is lying.
His line, I was just, remember, I'm the
I'm
sidekick.
sure they were there to
I'm
see
the
you
sidekick.
too. I'm sure they were
But,
there to see you too.
They were there to see Joe Bob, and so, it was very humbling, because I was like, holy moly, people remember. And it was like eye-opening and shocking and surprising and cool and weird all at the same time. And I'm like, oh my God, these people were watching us
Oh, yeah.
10, 20 years
Yeah.
ago. What's happening
On a
here?
regular basis, yeah, every weekend.
And I hear a story after
Yeah.
a story after a story, like my dad is dead now, but I remember you and Honey for like 9 years or whatever it was, every Friday night with my dad. And I'll never forget those memories. And I mean, I was like tearing up. Half the people were making me want to cry. I'm like, please, those are sob stories, or I had stories like, I didn't have a good family life, but the only joy that I had was sneaking in and watching you and Joe Bob on Friday night or whatever when my parents were asleep because I was in a very abusive home. And I'm like, and
That's what I'm saying. Talking to your fans is not like talking to, like, we talk to actors all the time, and talking to your fans, it's a different, they really felt a connection.
I think it's because
And-
every single week,
Yeah.
like you come into someone's home every single week.
Yeah.
And they're looking forward to it, they're planning it, they've got their popcorn, their beer, whatever, their Lone Star beer, if they're, following Joe Bob. And it kind of became like an event, I guess. And some adults, I talked to a lot of people, it's like, well, I was married and I had 3 kids, and we would get the kids together, and that was mine and my wife's like little date night part, like when you guys would come on, the kids were already asleep, and we'd watch a scary movie together and watch you guys, So it's like, and that was their thing, and then they'd say, but my wife has now passed away, and I'm like, stop it, you're killing me here. It was so sad, and then other people are like, I've seen them where they come in like son and daughter and dad and mom, and they all used to watch it, and the mom now is like a little grandma, whatever, and I'm like, and they can tell me line for line what he said and I said. I'm like, God, I can't remember that, barely.
Yeah.
It's humbling, it's heartfelt, I just don't even know what to say. I wish I had, was able to do more now to get to the fans, because still a lot of people will show up and go, oh my God, I didn't know you were still around. I didn't know you were doing conventions, because millions of people watched us on the weekends. And so there's millions of people out there with these memories that don't know how to find me. They're starting to find Joe Bob again because he had the new show. But now, so many people are sad that it's been canceled and that's a whole new fan base.
Yeah,
That's a whole new fan base. That's a whole new generation of people now who love the horror because of him and his style. So he'll live on forever.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful to have been a part of that.
And the OG.
I see
You
him
started
someday.
Melrose.
I see him at the Wax Museum with me on one side and Darcy on the other.
Funny.
Wouldn't that be great?
That would be great. Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. Well,
Thank you for being our
Yeah.
guest.
Thank you for
It's a
having me.
lot
It's
of
been so
fun.
much fun.
And I know that because you even mentioned, you're like, people probably wonder where they can find me because I am out here. So on social media, where can they find you?
So I have a Facebook page and it's just called Honey. You'll see my picture on there.
Super easy.
Yeah,
Honey.
and then I think my Instagram is, I think we changed it. I think it's Honey Michelle Gregory official.
I think you're the official, yeah.
Yeah, because it originally was Honey the Mail Girl, and it got weird, and so we switched it. So now it's Honey Michelle Gregory Official on Instagram. And I think I have some other stuff, but I don't know anything about it, and I don't post anything on any of those. But I've been recently invited to do Cameo, got qualified for that. And someone asked me recently to have an Only's fan, but I think I'm a little old for that. So. Unless someone's got 50 grand, I might start posting pictures.
Cameo would be so good for
Wouldn't that
you,
be
though.
fun?
Yes, I think you would do great at those, and I think that you would get
Yeah.
a lot of people reach out to you. I really, truly do.
I think it'd be fun. It's just,
so.
I heard there's like a lot of rules, like you have to make sure you do it within so many
Yeah.
days. And sometimes with work and stuff going on, I don't know that I can commit to that yet. Maybe.
I don't think it's that bad. You could talk to Tracy because he's on there.
Okay.
But I don't think it's that bad. You do have a turnaround time. I don't think it's too bad, but
Okay.
I think that's great. So that's coming then.
I don't
So
know.
Cameo
Something
might
can
be
happen.
coming.
Okay, so I am old. and I am not of the digital age. So if I have people who help me set things up, then I can do it. But other than that, girl, my daughter can say, Mom, download an app, and I'm like, what's an app? You know, show mommy where those are at.
No,
She
I
has to
tried
go
that.
show me where the Play Store and put it in. And at one of the conventions, we were trying to set up PayPal because some guy wanted to buy a bunch of stuff and he only had PayPal. It took her 10 seconds because I played with it for half an hour. And I'm like, I can't figure this out. She goes, there, Mom, my God.
Yeah, that's what we have those kids for, yeah.
To keep us fresh.
Yeah, keep us relevant. Yes. Yes.
Well, thanks,
So
guys.
that and conventions, so we might see you coming at conventions too, so.
I really appreciate Bronson and Brandy and now you and Tracy. You guys have really pushed it, and I'm sure the fans should be appreciative because without you guys helping create an awareness that I'm still out here, I wouldn't be here. So I owe it
That's
to
what
them.
we do, that's what we do, we try to keep horror alive and thriving and relevant, right?
So I really appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks. And doing this, this is the stuff that makes people remember or look and discover.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
And
and of course, nobody can go watch the shows because they're not on anywhere, but you can find
Well,
them
they
on
are.
YouTube.
Yes,
They
and-
are,
and
though.
internet
They're on Patreon, so they're on Joe Bob's Patreon.
Oh,
So they're
okay.
digitizing all the old videos. And I
Nice.
have some of the old reels of the whole, it's like this massive tapes that I need to have converted, but I have
Yeah.
a few of the old ones. But supposedly they have tried really hard, so I think Darcy and some other people, one of her friends, were trying to get them done. And I believe that as they get them digitalized, they've got them on Joe Bob's Patreon page. But I think there's different membership levels, and you have to have a certain membership. But yeah, if you want to go on to John, and it helps him out too, to Joe Bob's Patreon page,
good.
you can see a lot of the old interaction with Honey
That's
and
neat.
Joe Bob.
yeah, that's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, cool. Well, thank you again
Yep.
for coming on.
Thank
Yeah, it's
you.
been awesome, so much fun.
All right.
Yes.
As for everybody, what do they have to do?
They have to stay
Hardcore! All right.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Yay! All right.
Wow. That's hardcore.
Nothing harder.
Hardcore horror with Mike and Brigitte is a part of the Tennessee Horror Podcast Network.